Hey, what's up guys? Sir Emanon here, and welcome to another episode of Inside DB Rated. This is the dual commentary series where we go ahead and spectate random matches on DB's ladder and just check out what people are playing. So this is going to be a match between Darkman Alt on Zoodiac Striker versus JT on Shaddoll Invoked. Some pretty interesting decks we got here, but as usual guys, if you do want to go ahead and send in replays for the series in general, feel free to go ahead and check out my Discord server down in the description box below, where I have a channel dedicated for this purpose. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I kind of said that backwards from the way I normally do, but looks like Shaddoll Invoked is going to take the RPS win here, and they are going to choose to go first. So the opening hand going first for Shaddoll Invoked is going to be Double Alistair, Ecclesia, Shaddoll Fusion, and Ice Dragon's Prison. So a pretty interesting hand. It's going to be basically Dogmatica Invoked for a while, because apart from Shaddoll Fusion, there's just no Shaddoll cards in here. But this hand is still pretty good for sure. And then the opening hand for Zoo Striker going second is going to be Solemn Strike, Macrocosmos, Double Ego Booster, and Therablade. So if you guys are unfamiliar with the concept of this deck, basically you have the Striker spells being Ego Booster as a way to protect your Borbo in the battle phase or Zeus otherwise, and also your Widow Anchor as a strong defensive card going first or a way to kind of force disruptions going second. So you're not really playing anything like Ray or anything like that, but it is definitely a cool idea for sure. I think some lists were playing Afterburner for a while, but I'm pretty sure it's been dropped. Not 100% sure on that, though. But regardless, we're going to see an almost on Alistair to kick things off from the Shaddoll Invoked side of things. So that's going to grab Invocation. And then from here, they're going to link off into a copy of the Artemis and then fire off this Invocation. That's going to banish the material, Fusion Summon Hcabe. And then Invocation effect Engrave, that's going to recycle itself and then add back Alistair. Pretty standard stuff here. Gonna go for Ecclesia next, and then activate her effect. That's going to add a copy of Fleur-de-Lis to hand. So not going for a punishment, I would assume, to make it so that the Shaddoll Fusion is live as a follow-up play. Not trying to be punishment locked, which makes sense, as well as Alistair. So we're gonna set Ice Dragon's Prison and then pass. For turn, we will see a top-decked Dark Ruler no more on the side of Zoo. So pretty fascinating, given the fact that there are also trap cards in this list. So there's tools equipped to go first and to go second in this deck, which is definitely interesting. But we will see a normal summon Therablade, and then going to go into Borbo, and then go to battle phase, attack with a Borbo for 16. And then in main phase 2, gonna overlay for a copy of Shakanine, and then Hermikong, followed up with a Zeus. And then gonna detach 2 materials. They're gonna chain Hcabe to try and negate that as chailing 2. And then Ego Booster will be chailing 3 to protect the Zeus. And then they're going to activate Fleur-de-Lis' hand effect as chailing 4 to try and summon itself and then ultimately negate the Zeus. And then the second Ego Booster will be chailing 5. And so that'll be protecting the Zeus from the Fleur-de-Lis. And then obviously Hcabe already tried to activate there. So the chain will now resolve. Everything gets wiped. Notably, I think Ice Dragon's Prison could have actually been used there, because if you just summon any random Zoo, you can actually banish both the Hcabe and the Zeus if you want to, because they are both machines. But then again, there is a Shaddoll Fusion in hand, so that might not have been worth it, just trying to lead the extra deck monster on the board. So things to kind of consider. Like if this wasn't a Shaddoll Fusion, you might consider doing that play. That's something that you guys might want to think about, just in general. But gonna set 2 traps and then pass. For turn, we're gonna see a top deck Super Poly for turn. Pretty interesting, actually. So this might actually end up being a Construct or a Hcabe down the line due to Zeus. So we will see a Shaddoll Fusion being activated, but that's going to be met with the hardest Macrocosmos ever. So that is going to nullify that card entirely, banishing the materials to summon out a copy of App Clone, it looks like. And then going to try an App Clone effect to negate the macro, but that's going to be met with Solemn Strike. And then from here, they're going to normal summon the Alistair, and then use the effect that's going to grab Invocation. And then from here, going to activate the Super Poly. So that's going to pitch the Invocation and then fuse away with the Zeus and the Alistair for the Hcabe. And now it's Hcabe beatdown time. Gonna attack for 2500 and then pass basically. For turn, we're gonna see a top decked Imperm. So any Zoo would be able to clean up this board, because Hcabe actually can't negate under macro due to the fact that it has to send specifically to the graveyard. So set Imperm and then pass. The top deck's going to be Nedir Servant, so this would be a good top deck, but again, similar to Hcabe, this card has to specifically send from the extra deck to the graveyard successfully in order to get the search off. So this is actually not a live draw right now. Going to go to battle phase, attack for 25, and then, I mean, you can try and activate it, just gets banished, and then you'll get the search. But yeah, going to pass from there. For turn, we're going to see a top deck Skullmeister. Again, no Zoo. We're going to set it and pass, so trying to buy another turn here. We're going to see another top deck Super Poly. So going to proceed to battle phase, attack into the Meister, and then pass. For turn, we're going to see a top deck Tenki, which, does do it. So going to go ahead and activate it. They'll try and use Hcabe, but yeah, can't negate under macro. So the Tenki will resolve. That is going to search for a copy of Thunderblade, and then they're going to normal it, and then go into a copy of Hammer Kong, and then Tiger Mortar, and then activate Tiger Mortar effect, detaching the Hammer Kong, and then equipping the copy of Thunderblade, and then going for Borbo. Battle Phase going to attack for a lot of damage, 3,300, and then going to go for Trident. Should be an extra 100 from Tenki, but not a big deal. Going to go ahead and end phase, pop the Hcabe with Trident, and then pass. For turn, we're going to see a top deck Schism. That is definitely not live right now. And that is possibly just going to be the end of the game right here. Yeah, so game 1 goes to Zoodiac Striker after a fair amount of back and forth. You can see the ability for Zoodiac, of course, to just break boards as they normally do, but the added insurance of Eagle Booster really just bolsters what would otherwise be a pure Zoodiac strategy. So definitely interesting concept for sure. But we're now going to move into game number 2 here, where it looks like Shaddoll Invoked is going to start things off. If you guys are enjoying this video, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you're new here and want to see more commentary similar to this. But the opening hand for Shaddoll Invoked going first this time again is going to be Magical Meltdown, Shaddoll Beast, Ice Dragon's Prison, Hedgehog, and Fleur-de-Lis. This is a pretty wonky hand. It's fine, but it's a little bit slow, I think. Yeah, not really drawing the most ideal combination of cards, but it's workable. And then the opening hand for Zoo going second is going to be Imperial Order, Bunny Blast, Desires, Cosmic Cyclone, and Thunderblade. So this hand has the potential to be quite good. Has the answer to a Schism that could be coming. Not right now, though, of course. But yeah, has Desires as well, which is always good to see. Going to go ahead and activate Magic Meltdown for main phase 1 rather for the Shaddoll Invoked player. That adds Alistair to hand. And then going to normal the Alistair, use the effect to grab Invocation. And then it's standard Invoke stuff. Oh, just kidding. They're actually going to deviate. So they're going to go for Construct here, fusing away with the Hedgehog and the Fleur-de-Lis. I see. So this actually definitely is better for sure. Because this will allow Construct to hit the board. And then they're going to trigger Construct and Hedgehog effects. So going to go ahead and grab Wendy off the Hedgehog, and then Construct will send a copy of Schism. And then going to link away for a copy of Verite Anaconda. Construct will add back the Schism. And then Verite Anaconda is going to activate here. That's going to pay 2,000 and then send a copy of Shaddoll Fusion. That's going to send, or fuse away rather, the Wendy that was added as well as the Beast that was hard drawn. And then that goes for Winda. And then Beast is going to activate. Yeah, Wendy cannot activate here, of course, because of the Verite Anaconda. And then Shaddoll Dragon is going to be drawn off of the Wendy. Or not Wendy, sorry, the Beast. And then going to set 2 and then pass. So pretty good setup for sure. We definitely will have to probably see the play eventually where Ariel gets banned or sent to the grave to banish like your own Alistair, so you can add back Alistair off the Invocation. That's pretty common. But for turn, we're going to see another copy of a Zoo monster being Ram, so not ideal to see this many Zoos. So we're going to see a Desires, that's going to banish 10, and then draw Retaliating Sea and Cosmic. So this would have been nice to see before, because I'm pretty sure this is cited for this matchup in particular, given the fact that, you have Invocation and Shaddoll Fusion and El Shaddoll Fusion, which this card, pretty much just destroys, right? Since it is, again, just another macro. So it would have been nice to see it last time. So they're going to normal summon the Thunderblade and activate the effect. That's going to pitch Bunny Blast to draw another Desires. Not really good. So yeah, not really a lot of tools to actually out this window. They're going to go to Battle Phase and then attack into this Verite. And then Ice Dragon's Prison is going to be activated. That's going to banish the Bunny Blast and the Thunderblade. And then going to, still in Battle Phase, use the Cosmic Cyclone. That's pretty heads up because Schism can't be chained here. Well, it can be, it just can't activate the effect. But yeah, that's going to get rid of the Schism there. And then they're going to set 2 and then pass. For turn, we're going to see a top deck Ecclesia. Ooh, that's a pretty good one. So going to activate Verite Anaconda, actually. Going to do that. And then send a copy of Shaddoll Fusion. That's going to fuse away the materials in hand for a copy of Construct. Construct and Dragon will trigger, so that's going to pop the set Cosmic. And then going to send a copy of Resh. And then from here, going to go to Battle Phase and then attack for 22,528. So this is not quite game yet. Going to proceed to main phase 2 and then pass. We'll see a top deck Dimension Shifter. That is very much dead right here. Probably going to have to Desires again, I'd imagine. Yeah, going to activate Desires again. That's going to banish 10 more. Actually, I should probably look at those to see what the list looks like. So that's going to draw Whiptail and Eagle Booster. So again, this doesn't really help combat the window. Probably fishing for like a Dark Ruler or something. So we see Macro gone. We see there's the Widow Anchors. We see Ashes. I think that's all 3 Widow Anchor gone. And then Barrage as well. I do wonder if there are still Dark Rulers in the deck, or if they are sighted out here, because we didn't really see any of them, I don't think. Unless if I just glossed over it. But we're going to see Normal Summon Ram Ram, and then go into a copy of Tiger Mortar, and then use the effect. But Blade, yeah, try and use the effect, but Blade was banished due to the Ice Dragon's Prison. So that's going to be game number 2, going to Shaddoll Invoked. Pretty good plays all around, considering the fact that that hand was not like the most ideal, but making the best out of the dead Fleur-de-Lis in hand to be able to make a construct and eventually have a win to lock up the game. So game number 3, we're now going to see the Zoo player electing to go second again. So Shaddoll Invoked going first in all 3 games. And as usual, before we get started with game 3, want to shout out my patrons as usual. So thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. The long form and consistent content is made possible thanks to you guys. Really do appreciate it. And if you guys do want to help out support the channel via the Patreon, feel free to go ahead and check it out in the description box below. But we're going to now carry on to game 3, where the opening hand for Shaddoll Invoked going first is going to be double Nadir Servant, double Alistair Prosperity. Very interesting hand. It's symmetrical as well, so at least it's aesthetically pleasing. But yeah, I mean, it's not a bad hand for sure. Like, these are the cards you want to see, but definitely not an everyday type of hand. The opening hand though for Zoodiac going second is going to be double Whiptail, Eagle Booster, Widow Anchor, and Imperm. Imagine if this Imperm was another Eagle Booster, then they'd both have mirrored hands, which would be pretty funny. They're going to normal summon a copy of Alistair, use the effect that's going to grab Invocation, choosing not to Imperm this. Probably saving it for, you could save it for like a Winda or maybe like a Maximus. Going to go for a copy of Artemis next, and then activate Invocation. That's going to go and summon up Hcabe. You can also just use it on Hcabe on your own turn just to get it out of the way. That's like also something that's pretty important. Because if you use it on Alistair, you get punished by a hard drawn Invocation. Which, I mean, I know it's a meme that they always have it, but sometimes they honestly do. So in that case, you know, it's good to just Imperm the Hcabe instead. But gonna add back Alistair with the Invocation engrave. And then go for Nadir Servant. That's going to send Apclone to add Ecclesia. And then go into Apclone effect to add Schism. And then pitch a copy of Nadir Servant. And then going to activate Prosperity next. That's going to banish, looks like just 3. So going to reveal a couple Shaddolls as well as Meltdown. And the banishes were Construct, Winda, Raijin. We see Raijin quite a lot lately, just because of the Tribegal Lureless deck. Super Poly makes it and out to the Barrier statue if you have Alistair. But going to take Meltdown out of those. And then going to go ahead and summon out Ecclesia, use the effect. That's going to be negated with Imperm. So choosing to drop it there. And then they're going to set Schism and then pass. It might have been worth it to actually activate the Meltdown. Even though like it'd be 3 Alistairs in hand. So maybe you want the spell negate. Like that could be the reason to hold it. But you could also argue that like protecting your Schism from cards like Bell could be relevant. Bell's not as popular now though, so maybe not as much. But something to consider is that, you know, Meltdown protects Schism. But we're going to see a top deck Desires return. Going to activate it, of course. That's going to banish 10. And then draw into a copy of nothing, because there is a spell negate right there. So we see Shifter in the main, or Shifter in the deck post side still. We also see a lot of Zoos gone, and Barrage again. But not a big deal, of course, because we already have a couple of Zoos here. Going to normal summon the Whiptail, go into Borbo. And then going to go Battle Phase, attack for 1200. And then main phase 2, going to go for Hammer Kong. Yeah, so there is no way to get Winda here, I don't think. You go Hammer Kong, and then Shakanine, and then Trident, and then Tiger Mortar, and then Zeus. So throwing all the Xyz materials underneath it. Gonna activate Zeus. They're gonna try and chain Schism to that, because sending Construct will, you know, allow Zeus to be sent away there. But they're gonna chain Zeus in response to that. So they're going to then set a couple cards and then pass. For turn, we're gonna see a copy of Shaddoll Fusion drawn for turn. That is pretty good, for sure. Yeah, that's pretty good. They're going to go ahead and activate it. That's going to send materials, being Wendy and Hedgehog, to summon out Apclone. And then all the effects will trigger Apclone Chainlink 3 to try and negate Zeus, Wendy Chainlink 2 to summon from deck, and Hedgehog as Chainlink 1 to search, but going to go Eagle Booster Chainlink 4 to protect the Zeus. So Dragon will be set, actually, and then going to go for a copy of Wendy, being the search. And then from here, going to normal summon Alistair, but they're going to chain Widow Anchor to negate it. Not enough spells to actually take it. And then from here, going to link off into a copy of Verity Anaconda, and then Apclone activates. That's going to add a copy of El Shaddoll Fusion, and then pitch the Wendy. So pretty interesting to add Wendy there, if the plan was to link away the Apclone eventually anyways, because Wendy was already used. So maybe it was worth to go for a different Shaddoll name there. Veritan Icona going to be activated though. That's going to pay 2,000 and then send a copy of Shaddoll Fusion. Going to fuse away both itself and the Shaddoll Dragon. And then go for a copy of El Shaddoll Winda. And I know I get some comments like this regarding like Verite, so I'll just say this now in case people are wondering. But because it copies the effect of Shaddoll Fusion, even though Shaddoll Fusion was already activated and you can only activate one per turn, this copies the effect. So it's not like you're activating another Shaddoll Fusion with that effect, if that makes sense. So you can definitely do that. But we always see Winda, or we will see Winda come down, and then going to go ahead and Zeus in the end phase. Winda is going to add back the Shaddoll Fusion. And then from here, we're going to see a top deck Cosmic. So this is definitely just game, because you can just Tiger Mortar the other Whiptail, and that's game right there. Going to normal summon the Whiptail, and then overlay for Hammer Kong, and then overlay for, oh, that works too, the Drill Driver, Respinato. And then go to battle phase, and that is 5,500 damage. So that is going to be the end of the match. Zoodiac Striker taking a 2-1. Pretty interesting. That was a very fascinating match for sure. Quite a bit of back and forth. We do get to see the strengths of, I think, both decks, actually, which is quite nice. Shaddoll is getting very popular right now. And then I think this is a cool take on Zoo, because it solves some of the problems with pure Zoo. Obviously, it still is prone to disruption on the normal summon. But, you know, the Ego Booster at least helps out with the major win condition if you're allowed to get that far, if people are holding their resources for it. So definitely a pretty interesting kind of alternative to what would be standard Zoo, like I mentioned. But anyways, that's going to be it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like as well as any thoughts or feedback in the comments. Subscribe for more fun and competitive Yu-Gi-Oh content. If you want to, you can follow me on all social media platforms or support me with the links in the description as usual. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next video. See you guys.